A lot of new dual sport riders are curious about backcountry moto camping. For many of us, the idea of loading up a bike and heading into the woods in search of that perfect campsite is one of the reasons we got into this in the first place. But campsites like this don't just appear on a map. Finding them and keeping them accessible and enjoyable for others takes a little more effort than most people realize. So in this video, I'm taking my friend Dylan on his first ever moto camping trip, while sharing some of what goes into finding, accessing, and looking after places like this. After a long, cold winter here in Ontario, I was itching to get back on the bike and onto some of my favorite trails. But early season rides here tend to come with their fair share of challenges. Snow lingers in shaded areas, mud and water can make forestry roads impassable, and fallen trees are common. A few weeks before I took Dylan on his first moto camping trip, my buddy Josh and I headed out to scout the area and see how the trails had fared over the winter. The amount of snow we found caught us off guard. Progress was extremely slow. We made the most of the day, but it quickly became clear that reaching the campsite wasn't going to happen. Even though spring had arrived, the backcountry wasn't quite ready for us yet. A few weeks later, I headed back out on my KLR to see how things had changed. The snow was finally gone, and most of the fallen trees had already been cleared by other riders and ATV users doing much the same thing as I was. In the end, I only had to deal with a single tree that had fallen across the entrance of the campsite. The ride home was spent dodging a hailstorm. By the end of the day, I knew the trail was in good shape, and the campsite was ready for another season. Now that everything was ready, it was finally time to take Dylan on his first moto camping trip. I've known Dylan for a few years, and although he's owned plenty of street bikes, this year he decided to give dual sport riding a try. One of the things that attracted him to it was the freedom to explore remote places and camp in areas that are otherwise difficult to reach. After a bit of searching, he found this CRF 300L Rally and set it up as a perfect, lightweight adventure bike. With the bikes loaded, we made our way towards camp at a relaxed pace while Dylan got used to riding off-road with luggage. Considering it was one of his first times off pavement, he handled it very well. Before long, we arrived at camp, and Dylan got his first look at one of my favorite places to spend a night in the backcountry. Once at camp, we unpacked the bikes and got our hammocks strung up. For quick overnight trips like this, I almost always choose a hammock over a tent. They're fast to set up, pack down small, and make for a comfortable night's sleep. I then made the questionable decision to jump into the freezing cold lake, and before long, we had dinner cooking. I heated up a couple of Jamaican patties over the fire, while Dylan prepared a coconut curry and rice on his jet boil. The evening passed the way most good camping trips do, sitting around the fire, watching the stars, and enjoying good company. Needless to say, Dylan was impressed with his first moto camp location. I eventually crawled into my hammock and quickly passed out. The following morning, I woke up to a light breeze drifting across the lake. It's mornings like these that keep me coming back to places like this, year after year. After breakfast, we packed up camp and hit the road. There were still a few scenic routes I wanted to show Dylan before the trip was over. Like most riders new to dirt, Dylan had a minor mishap on a steep hill and dropped his Honda. Fortunately, the bike was well protected, and after a quick lift, we were back on our way. The rest of the ride home was spent enjoying a few scenic roads before eventually heading home. For Dylan, I'd say it was a successful first moto camping trip and a good introduction to what dual sport riding is all about. Before I wrap up, I just wanted to thank everyone for helping the channel reach 3,000 subscribers. I genuinely appreciate the support. If you enjoy adventure riding, dual sports, and moto camping, consider subscribing for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.